the more you have of something, the value will decrease. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. Last week, I was having a chat with a client and a friend, and we were talking about the idea of value. And I think that this conversation is really important for all of you out there that are extremely driven, that are highly ambitious, and that want to achieve more in life. Because what you'll find is that the more successful you become, things start to lose their value over time. And it's hard to stay grateful and also driven if the things that once drove you, you start to lose the value of those things. Now, let me explain. So when it comes to money, if you think about it, when you're a 5-year-old child, now most people who are listening to this podcast are probably Gen Ys or millennials or Gen Xs. Now, I know that there are some baby boomers who listen to this podcast, and I also know that there's some Gen Zs who listen to this podcast. But when you're quite young, the value of $1 is quite high. So I remember my parents, I'm 41 years of age, so it makes me feel old now when I say this, but I remember my parents giving me like a couple of dollars to go buy lollies. And I was stoked because I could get this bag of lollies. It was a whole bag of lollies for $1 or $2. And I used to go and pick them out the shop window, and myself and my sister would be there all excited on our push bikes out the front. And we would buy all of these lollies and fucking loved it. Now, $1 to me is, sometimes I see $1 on the ground, I'm like, I can't even be bothered picking it up sometimes because it's only $1. I can't buy much with $1 these days. Even a coffee. Actually, I think sometimes they charge me like $1 just to put honey in my coffee if I want to get my long black with honey or my Americano with honey. But my point is the value of the dollar has decreased to me because I've got more money now. So over time, the value of $1 has decreased. But now, I guess 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, even $1 million, that has a high value. But the value of $1 has decreased. Why? Because once you get more of something, it starts to become the norm, so the value of it decreases. If you think about it, someone who spends, let's say someone has $1 million business. If they're spending $10,000, the percentage or the amount that they're about to spend relative to the amount of money that they have is quite small. $10,000 to someone that only has $10,000 is 100% of everything that they have. So the value of that dollar, or the value of $10,000, is a lot higher. You've heard me speak about this before with sales. Sometimes I'm very, very cautious when I'm talking to someone over the phone. If someone is very needy and they say, I need to do one of your courses and your programs, and let's say it's Thrive Time, and Thrive Time is $3,000 or $2,997 in Australian dollars, not US dollars, in Australian dollars. So it's probably about $2,500 or something, or $2,000 US dollars, something like that anyway. But when someone is needy and they've only got $3,000 in their bank account, to them, if they pay $3,000 for my program, it's 100% of what they have currently in their bank account. So to them, that program is almost everything. Therefore, their emotional response and what their expectations are to get out of that program is so high, because they're like, if this thing doesn't change my life, I've invested every single cent I have in that program. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure for me and my team. Whereas if someone comes along, like we had the ex-head of Air Asia, a guy called Ryan Lim or Fang Ming. So he ran a major airline. I think he had about 4,500 staff at the time, or 6,500. So it was pretty high, 6,500 staff or something like that. Anyway, we start off in the morning. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning we start off, and then at about 12:30 in the afternoon, I go to the bathroom. And I'm just in the bathroom and Ryan comes in. And I said to him, how are you enjoying the program? And he said, yeah, good man, I got my value. Now, he'd only been in the program for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, because what he's looking for is, out of that $3,000 investment that he'd invested in the program, he just needed to learn one thing. That one thing that he wanted, he'd already got. And so for him, he'd already got his value. Whereas that person who's trying to change their whole entire life and they've invested every cent that they have to have big changes and these big things happen in their life. So their idea, their value perception is completely different than someone like Ryan, who, is probably on hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, maybe even millions, when he was running Air Asia. So for him, he only needed a small amount of value for him to perceive that he's got his value back. And that's why sometimes it's actually easier working with higher achievers and higher performers, because they don't tend to expect that everything has to fall on the hands of one thing or one person or one learning or one lesson or one teaching. So just remember, the more money we make, the less value money has to that individual, dollar for dollar. Now, the same thing happens with friendships. I was only thinking about this the other night, hence why I want to share it. When you only have one or two friends, then those one or two friends are your everything. Also, if you're in an intimate relationship, and let's say you're somebody who doesn't have much going for you, you're not really highly intelligent, you don't have a lot of money, you don't look after your health, you don't look after your mindset. Now you get into an intimate relationship. That one person is the only person that you're probably going to have success with in an intimate relationship. Therefore, your value for them is everything because there's nothing else. There's no other options. When you've only got a couple of friends, you rely upon them so heavily because you've only got a couple of friends, only a couple of people you can trust. Whereas what I've noticed over the years is that the bigger and the more popular I become in what I do, the harder it is to spend time with friends and people around me because there's just so many fucking people who want my time. Now, yeah, I still spend time with my close friends and people around me, but I just find it a lot harder these days to spend time with people because my circle is so big. If I give a little bit of time to each one of those people, I have no time for myself. I have no time for Jess. I have no time for my family. I have no time for clients because I'm just spending it all with the people who want to spend time with me. I literally get messages every week from people who say, hey, we should catch up for a coffee. Hey, it'd be great to have a chat. Hey, we should hang out. Hey, can we have a meeting on the phone because I think my product or my service may help you? My time just gets so compressed because of the amount of people who want my attention. And anyone who has a larger business, you'll notice that this happens. Or anyone who's on social media or who's an influencer, you'll know that they just pull you in so many different directions. So here's the thing. When you're in that situation, the value of the relationships decrease. Because when you've got, let's say, 100 people who all want to spend time with you, the value of those relationships actually decreases. Whereas when you've only got that one friend, they're 100% of everything. Those 100 people, they're 1/100th of the relationships you have. So if one person gets upset with you, it doesn't matter because there's 99 other people who, you've got to spend time with anyway. So what I was starting to realize is that the more popular you become, the more money you make, the more you have of everything. Like if you think about even buying cars, your first car, if you like cars, was your everything. After a while, that just becomes a norm. And some of my friends, they've got like 20 supercars. And I ask them, how do you even pick what to drive? And they're like, I don't know. And to them, they're just a car. Whereas when I bought my Audi R8, that was like my everything. It was like everything I'd worked hard for. Now it's sitting in the garage with a flat battery and I'm like, man, I got to go get a battery. I'll get it next month. Okay, but my point is that the more you achieve, the harder it is to feel grateful for the things that you've got. So something that I think is really important, and this is what I do quite regularly, is you have to reflect back on how far you've come. You have to reflect back on those people who have been with you for a long, long time and realize that you're grateful for those relationships. And also you've got to stay grateful for the people who are around you now. You have to stay grateful for those dollars that you made. I still think back now, like even it's making me smile and, I won't say get emotional, but just feel a sense of gratitude because I remember being the kid in the lolly shop or the candy shop when I was a kid with my sister with that $1 or $2 and being so fucking stoked because we were buying lollies. It was very rare in my family to actually, from my parents anyway, to have lollies in the house because we just couldn't afford them. So they were those cool moments. And even now, I try to find those moments and be grateful for them again because if not, the value of everything that you have around you, the more it increases, the less value you place on it. And so after a while, you can have everything and still feel empty. And that's a really, really dark place to be. I was there for a little bit when I had achieved quite a lot in this business. I noticed that I was just making money and it was never enough and it was never enough and I was always chasing something and I was always chasing something because I didn't go back and realize how far I'd come and the importance of having gratitude for the work and the effort and the energy and the people that have been there. So just be careful. Be very, very careful out there that as you achieve more, you can start to become complacent, ungrateful, and not see the value in the things that are around you. Anyway, I just thought I'd share my story because I know for some of you out there, the value of the dollar has decreased, the value of friendships has decreased, and even maybe the value of the things around you that are really important have decreased. And I know I had the same thing as well. I started traveling and doing national tours and everything like that. And I started getting a lot of attention from people, both, like people wanted to hang out with me. I was getting more attention from women and stuff like that. And I just noticed I started putting Jess on the back burner. I don't know what it was, but it was just, there was part of me where I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just staying focused. And I just noticed that she got pushed to the side a little bit. And then when I started realizing how important it was to be grateful for the people that have stood by me and the people that have been there, and even those little moments in time, I think they became more valuable to me because I look for them. Okay. I guess I'm rambling now anyway. I'm just sort of in a ramble, I guess, or in a trance, but I really wanted to share because I know that I had lost that gratitude. And I know I've actually worked with a fair few people who are like that as well. They start getting a lot more attention. I worked with a business owner a little while ago, and he was noticing that he was getting a lot more attention from women because he was making more money. And he started putting his intimate partner on the back burner and his family on the back burner, his young kids and everything like that, because that attention was there and it was exciting and it was fun. And also the value of his relationship had gone down because now he's getting more attention from these other women. He knew that if the woman that had been there by his side for a long period of time, if she were to ever leave or not add value to him in the way that he wanted her to add value, then he could just fuck her off and get somebody else. But the thing is that when you think like that, you're just not grateful for what you got, and you're going to end up in the same position again anyway with the person that you leave your marriage for or you leave your relationship for. You're going to end up back in that same place anyway. So the best thing that you can do is see those small moments and be grateful for them. And so I've had to train myself over time as well, especially with money, to do that same thing as well. Like if I do find $1 on the ground or find a $5 note or something like that, to appreciate that and go, it's cool, money comes to me easy. And I use that as a sign that money flows to me easily and effortlessly, consistently, and money's always going to be there. Okay. Anyway, I hope that helps, Driven Mofos. I know some of you out there are probably going through this right now, either in your relationships. I know you might be going through it with money as well, and you just start blowing cash on all crazy shit. I went through that journey as well. I went through the journey where I didn't appreciate money because money was just coming so easily in the business. And then all of a sudden it hit because I wasn't grateful for it and I didn't look after it. Money ended up fucking off. And then when I had no money, I was shitting my pants because I thought, crap, I'm about to lose everything I've worked hard for. And then I became stressed for years why I built everything back up again. Not that I was going to lose everything. I thought I was going to lose everything, but not that we got close to it. It's just that the cash flow started drying up and I went, shit. And then I had to work hard again for a couple of years to get that momentum back that I had stalled by wasting money, by not being appreciative to it. So remember, Driven Mofos, the value of everything will decrease the more you have of something. So keep focused on being grateful for what you've got. Be grateful for the things around you. And just remember that that's going to be a pattern. The more friends you have, the value of them will decrease. The more, people who may be potential intimate partners around you, the more the value of your relationship will decrease unless you can find gratitude in your relationship. If you're in business and you've got more people looking for jobs for your organization, the more you won't appreciate the staff that you've got that have been there for a long, long time. So just remember, the value of everything decreases the more you have of something. Driven Mofos, take care. Keep kicking ass. I really appreciate you all. Thanks for being part of this awesome community of Driven Mofos. Remember, sharing's caring. Please share this podcast with friends, with family, especially if you're getting value from it. Take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.